For today's session, we have 5 gallants as panel members. They have the knowledge and experience. Mr. Ilangovan, Mr. Kiru, Mr. Anadore, Mr. Ramalingam, and Mr. Somasundaram. Thank you for accepting the invitation. Our moderator will introduce the 5 Army letter. For today's program, our moderator is Sendil from the batch of 1999. Presently, he is our executive committee member and he is very active with AAA since 2013 EBIS, which we conducted at Holiday Inn Hotel, Havelock Road. Plutocrats are decision makers in one way in many countries because money speaks a lot. Knowledge is definitely more powerful, but it will not attract money unless it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plan of actions. Many people want to be an entrepreneur, but they don't start. Indifferences, indecision, worry, overcaution, procrastination, these are the some symptoms or reasons for them not starting yet. But don't forget, it is never too late for anyone. Before I conclude, I want to quote a phrase from Napoleon Hill. The man who wins is the man who thinks he can. So never it is too late. Thank you and welcome all of you to this wonderful capricious evening. Now I hand over to Sendil, the moderator of the event. Thank you very much.
ஞாலம் கருதினும் கைகூடும் காலம் கருதி இடத்தார் செயல். காலத்தையும் இடத்தின் தன்மையும் அறிந்து செய்யும் செயல்களை நாம் கொண்டால் நாம் உலகத்தையே வெல்லலாம். Good day all. It's been a great pleasure joining you all this evening. Our topic for the day is business challenges and sustainability in this current and post-COVID-19 situation. We all know entrepreneurship is an art. Entrepreneurs should learn how to manage the fluctuation in their day-to-day operation, especially during this pandemic. AAA Singapore will be happy to provide a platform to connect the pioneer entrepreneurs, come industry experts to our AAA alumni and entrepreneurs to discuss about the current business challenges and solution for sustainability. We hope this panel session may help our aspiring entrepreneurs and youngsters in multiple ways, especially on how to improve the productivity, increase the profitability, and effective resource management on top of the government funding. To further discuss on the topic, we have with us an array of panelists across the different industry verticals. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our panelists. Happy to introduce our AAA founding member and pioneer entrepreneur, Mr. Ilan. Mr. Ilan, Director, Exlock Technologies Private Limited, graduated from Annamalai University in 1980. Mr. Ilan running his own company in Singapore since 2006, serving oil and gas customers in this region. Previously, he had worked in India, Singapore, Indonesia, Kuwait, and United States. He is enjoying a wide network of customers in local partners in Asia and region. Now, hello, Mr. Ilan.
Yes, I'm online.
Yeah, are you ready for the questions?
Yes.
Okay, good. So please share your views on COVID-19 impact in Singapore economy, specific to your engineering industry. I hope you have a lot of experience and expertise in engineering industry. Please go ahead and share your views. Thank you.
Thanks, Sandil. Glad to be in this group session and brainstorming. I will be happy to share whatever experience from my side. The engineering aspect of a business in Singapore is predominantly, construction support, engineering, oil and gas supports. These type of supports, like infrastructure engineering, our people are involved in this type of engineering supports. Specifically to this scenario now, definitely there are projects going to be delayed or downsized. So these could be definitely impact. How much the impact? Maybe some projects may come up after 6 months. So it is a question of it's got delayed. We need to cope up with that. Important thing here is to face any situation, any challenging situation. You need to be aware what is really happening. Say, on the ground, and what is the really in how we quantify, how we react to it. One thing good in Singapore is transparent, and being a small place and a lot of data is available. We know which project is coming, what is the outlay, so we can plan something. That way, it is not that bad that we are in dark. Okay. So one area is delayed projects, oil and gas, definitely due to not because of COVID. Before that also it started because oil prices crashed. So a lot of investment are not going to come, and a lot of companies, particularly like Petronas, Patamina, all those national oil companies, they have shelved many projects. So that is one area is challenging. So our pie is reduced. So we need to be more innovative how we do this. Okay. Then the public consumption going to be reduced in terms of tourist arrival, in terms of utilities consumption, in terms of energy consumption. So many things going to happen. So connected industry is also going to be affected. So there is some engineering issue. Engineering scope will be reduced. Okay. Then we have whoever is now employed. To me, in Singapore environment, middle level or the management level people are supposed to work like entrepreneurs. Otherwise, you cannot survive. In Singapore scenario, whether it is MNC or whether it is private companies, you have to think like entrepreneur and work. So in that way, I see employees also in the same situation. So definitely there is going to be some sort of a reduction in employment. New employment generation definitely going to be affected. Even some job cut or pay cut is imminent. It is going to come. So we all have to be prepared how we manage that. That is something definitely sort of a challenge which we need to face. Workforce availability, whoever in the construction industry, workforce availability also going to be an issue because government will definitely will reduce number of workers on the job. So that is going to happen. Then social distancing definitely going to affect all offices, whether it is engineering office or construction management or any work. They are going to be limited people will be allowed. So what is going to happen to others? How how they put in shift? Those type of things is going to be challenge, which is going to be definitely we need to overcome. How to overcome? We need to see. Operating cost is another challenge. It's going to engineering office or IT office or any solution provider, project management, all these things, your cost going to increase, operating cost because of the lot of precautions you have to take, comply with the MOM, so many things, So these are the challenges. Definitely, there are opportunities. It is not that it's only the challenges. Many entrepreneurs, they know that it is going to be challenging. It is another journey. That's all. It's maybe a slightly tougher journey, but something I'm sure our people know how to face this. And being entrepreneur, they have chosen this line, and to provide employment, to pursue their passion, and do something different than others. So I'm sure they all mentally prepared. Also, one advantage in Singapore is government support. So nothing to much worry in my take. So maybe with this I'll close this. Maybe I'm thinking I have another round coming up. Okay, I would like to touch more on the opportunities and how we can manage this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ilan. Thank you for sharing your in-depth knowledge in your field of expertise. Thank you so much. Our next panelist, Mr. Ram, Chairman, Steamurgan Group of Companies, Singapore, graduated in Annamalai in 1994. Mr. Ram established Steamurgan Trading in 2004 at Singapore. Steamurgan Trading currently operates with 6 retail outlets, 2 Steamurgan Plus outlets, 8 Steamurgan franchise outlets, Steamurgan home delivery, and its own warehousing and manufacturing facilities. Mr. Ram is an independent director for Prelude Solutions Incorporated in United States and India. Sir, may I request your views on COVID-19 impact in global economy?
Right. Good evening. Thanks, Sindhil, for your invite this evening. I think one thing we all should understand is we are facing the biggest challenge of our lifetime. I think that is quite imminent, and everybody understands that. I don't think any of us would have seen such a big impact to the economy and business in the last 20, 30 years, or even for a century. So definitely COVID has had a big impact on our economy and the world economy as well. All right. Can you hear me? Everything is okay, right?
Sir, you are fine. We are here. We are hearing you. Please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, we are fine.
Okay. And impact of COVID-19 in Singapore and global economy. See, first of all, we must have a basis on where we are now. I mean, has COVID-19 have we crossed the dangerous part yet, or where are we in COVID-19 situation? Okay, there is 3 scenarios. We are going to be out of the circuit breaker, and we assume things are going to be okay, but not so good. Of course, it's going to take about another 2-3 months for us to get back to our normal way of life. So that's one scenario. But another scenario might be, it may not be so rosy. We might have some more infections coming up here and there, and especially other countries might see a blow up, and it could take about 6 months for us to get back to normal. Or the worst case scenario, it could take about a year. So we don't know where we are now. I'm not going to say where we are now because it's a guess for all of us. But on a positive note, let's all assume and be confident that we are in control, and things are going to be better in the next 3 months. So this is where my basis is on the COVID-19 situation, right? Okay, Singapore government has been very proactive. To be frank, I mean, they have pumped in a lot of money to stabilize the businesses, help the businesses. I mean, the last 2-3 months has been standstill. A lot of business has been affected. Nothing has been moving, but we are still able to kind of live on because of the $16 billion being pumped into the economy by the Singapore government. Not all the countries are doing it, or not every country in the world can afford to do that. So Singapore has enjoyed a very good government. I mean, in a governance or guidance in this term. So looking at Singapore, most probably, Singapore could be like 1 year behind, or maybe we are like -2 to 3, or maybe even 5% minus growth, which we can catch up in the next 1 year if things are okay. But looking at Malaysia, so Singapore has those governments have really pumped in so much money into the economy. So we might feel that we might see there's a lot of unemployments coming up, a lot of Malaysians being affected. So probably I'm looking at Malaysia probably about 2 years behind, and it could be more or less. Countries like Australia has dealt with the virus in a pretty good way, and I think they're a lot more in control, and they have pumped in a lot of money to stabilize businesses as well. I think the biggest challenge would be India in the coming months. You know how India is reacting. Of course, they have come out of they're going to come out of this lockdown, and you're going to see a lot of people coming out and going to work. So we have to see how India is going to turn out in the next, in the next 1-2 months. That is going to be very crucial. Indian economy is too big for anybody to predict where it is, and it could be, nothing to them, or it could be worse for them. I mean, it could be both ways. We have to wait and see for the next 1 month, see how it goes. But the whole world is definitely closely watching on India, because if India is affected, a lot of supplies are going to be disrupted, including for Singapore and for other countries as well. So Indian situation will play a big part in the whole world economy. I think coming to US and Europe, pretty much they are kind of peaking out. So in the next 2-3 months, they should all get better. And with developed economies, it shouldn't affect them too much. Probably they are like 1-2 years behind as well, but then I think they should be able to catch up pretty fast. Right. So these are some of my assumptions, and I mean, from what I think, anyway, it's may or may not be right, but this is what I think.
Sendil, unmute.
Oh, thank you for your insights about the prediction, both current and future global economy, Mr. Ram. Thank you so much for your inputs again.
All right.
Our next panelist, Mr. Kiru. Mr. Kiru, can you please on your cam?
Yes. Can you audible?
We want to see. Yes, you are audible and able to view as well. Okay.
Okay.
Let me introduce Mr. Kiru. Mr. Kiru, Director, Asa Consultant Private Limited and Star Academy Private Limited, graduated from Annamalai University in 1991. Usually, he doesn't treat himself as a businessman, but he possesses the quality. When we say restaurant in Singapore, all big names come to our mind, but there is a restaurant in smaller size, but can attract more crowd, like Gandhi Restaurant. Similarly, Mr. Kiru is silently, steadily pursuing his passion as a business over the last 10 years with consistency and confidence. There are a lot of clients in need of his services in safety and training industry. Okay, Mr. Kiru, let's start the questions now.
Vanakkam.
Vanakkam. So how does the COVID affect in workplace safety and training industry in Singapore? Please
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah. At the outset, I thank AAA President, Secretary, Executive Committee, and Mr. Sam, the organizer of this event. So thanks for having me. Okay, so now I am going to focus particularly on training industry and workplace safety health consulting works, because that is my area of work. So COVID has changed the landscape upside down. Landscape no another வருவாரு என்னையா நான் landscape business பண்றேன் நீ என்னையா பேசுற அப்படின்வாரு. ஸோ அது வந்து நம்ம இன்டென்ட் கிடையாது. Business landscape and lifestyle landscape, that is what I meant. Okay, I look at it and different perspectives. So one is on business perspectives, those who do safety business. For people are doing outsourcing, training, and there are so many ways of doing business in the safety in Singapore. So if you do outsourcing, so the challenge here is getting money from the client. That means main contractor is going to be a difficult, because they themselves going to financial difficulties. So you are going to have same difficulties as well. So if you supply 10 safety officers, If they don't, you don't get payment and you are going to suffer a lot, even if you have 100 and how big the size is. So if you do the government projects, it may be comfortable, you will get the money, even if not immediate, and slowly you can able to get it. And for the businesses, it is going to be very difficult retaining S-Pass and work permit holders, because there is now the new phenomena of reverse migration. They don't care about money. They want to go back to their home country, because the statistics from around the world, they say a lot of people want to go back. Even in India, so they work in Tamil Nadu or Maharashtra, they want to go back to their home state. Even Chennai people working in, they want to go back to their home village. So the landscape has changed, reverse migration has come, difficult to retain such talents. So that is the greatest challenge for safety business. So now let's talk about training business. Because last month, the Professional Engineers Board in Singapore, they announced they don't need PDU points for renewal of PE license. That means they are the regular business. That is what we all survive with. So they announced for this year, they don't need it. And similarly, 2 days ago, IES, Institution of Engineers Singapore, they announced STU points. That means structural and safety, because that is what the continual professional development, every RE and RTO need to renew their license in order to do their job. So now, after all these business for this year, it is waived. So there is nothing to do. One of our alumni member called me, Kiru, you have nothing to do. I told him, no, we have a lot of things to do right now, because at low time, we are preparing. So that is what we need to continue to do. This is on business perspectives. And because next I go to freelancers. In safety, workplace safety, there are a lot of freelancers in terms of training, in terms of consultants and consultancy work, safety consultancy, a lot of them freelancers. They will suffer because the company and the company staff itself, nothing to do. Then how the freelancers can survive? Because earlier, because in Singapore framework, they have a multi jobs, right? They do daytime some work and evening they can go and be the Grab driver. So now Grab also no business. So their survival and their income going to be reduced. So the lifestyle, they must be prepared to adapt. ஸோ இதை சொல்லும் போது எனக்கு ஒரு இது வந்துச்சு. இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஃப்ரீலான்சர்ஸ் தான் நிறைய என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா ஃபோன் பண்ணி கேட்பாங்க, தலைவா ஏதாவது இருக்கா, வேலை இருக்கான்னு கேட்பாங்க. நான் முதல்ல சொல்லுவேன், இருந்தா சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு சொல்லுவோம். இதை 3 மாசத்துக்கு முன்னாடி சொன்னா இருந்தா சொல்றாங்கன்னா வேற மீனிங். இப்ப 3 மாசம் கழிச்சு இப்ப சொன்னா இருந்தா சொல்றாங்கன்னா வேற மீனிங் ஆயிடுது. அதுதான் வந்து கோவிடோட எஃபெக்ட். அது அப்படியே அந்த மீனிங்கே மாத்திடுது. இருந்தா சொல்றேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது, so they think otherwise, right? So that is, so 60% of the freelancers are used to be easy life. நான் போறேன், வேலை செய்யறேன், எனக்கு அன்னைக்கு உண்டானது வருது, I am happy about it. So இனிமேல்ட்டு அந்த மாதிரி இருக்க முடியாது. So they need to be different because they also will be affected, freelancers. And working professionals, safety officers, safety coordinators, and safety workers, there are a lot of people working in the industry. So அவங்களுக்கு என்ன ஆகும்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா, there will be salary cut, allowances cut. If today they live in comfortable environment, say they earn $7,000, so few months down the road, they can only earn $4,000. So the lifestyle, they must adjust and they will have difficult times. So somehow for the same $4,000, they need to work a $10,000 job because work very hard, long hours. So that is all going to be the change in working professionals. And so because of all these problems, you always talk about problems. So problems, are you worried about the problems? Because you don't need to be worried, because necessity is the mother of invention. இன்வென்ஷன்னாக்கா டெக்னாலஜி பேஸ்ட் அப்படிலாம் கிடையாது. இன்வென்ஷன்னா போய் நம்ம ரிசர்ச் லேப்ல உட்காந்து இன்னைக்கு கெமிக்கலை ஊற்றி ரிசர்ச் பண்ற அந்த மாதிரி இன்வென்ஷன் கிடையாது. The way we do things, it should be different. ஸோ இப்போ பார்த்தீங்கன்னா in 1997 I recall எல்லாரும் கன்வென்ஷனலாக ரெஸ்டாரண்ட் பிஸ்னஸ் பண்ணும்போது கோமலாஸ்ன்ட்டு ஷேகர் மட்டும் என்ன பண்ணாருன்னா நியூ வே ஆஃப் பிஸி ஃபாஸ்ட் ஃபுட்டுன்னாரு. அப்போ அவங்க வீட்டில் எல்லாரும் திட்டினாங்க. அவர் ஒன் ஆஃப் த இதில் பேட்டியில் சொல்லியிருந்தார். அப்போ அவர் ஃபாஸ்ட் ஃபுட்டுன்னு வந்த உடனே ஹீ பிகேம் சூப்பர், ஹீ வின் ஜாக்பாட். ஓகே, தட் இஸ் ஹவ். தென் ஸ்ரீமுருகன் எடுத்துங்களா, நம்ம ராம் என்ன பண்ணாரு, எல்லாரும் நம்ம தேக்காவுக்கு போய் கை வாங்கும்போது அவர் என்ன பண்ணாரு, நீங்கள்லாம் வராதிங்க, I come to your place, I go to each residential estate. He do things different. So then he can able to break through the things. So namble eduthukinga 3 months ago nobody believed that working from home in Singapore is possible, because now within a short period 2 months we were able to do that, because the necessity that makes work differently. And for to be entrepreneurs, எப்பயுமே பிரச்சனை வந்தால் தான் அதுக்கு சொல்யூஷன் கிடைக்கும். அந்த டு பி என்டர்பிரினர்ஸ், நான் போகலாமா போகக்கூடாதா, நெடு சொன்னாரு, போகலாமா போகக்கூடாதா, பயமா இருக்குது, ஐயோ உலகமே அழிஞ்சிடும் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சுக்கிறவங்களுக்கு, சாரி, ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு நியூ ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் வில் எமர்ஜ். ஸோ தே நீட் டு பர்சியூ த நியூ emergence. So that is what my perception about the problems, challenges. And later we talk about solutions.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Kiru. Really, you give a lot of insights here. And your insights on challenges and way forward is really good. Moving to our next panelist, Mr. Ilavarasu Somasundaram alias Somu. Mr. Somu, can you please on your cam?
Yes, I'm here. Can you see me?
Yeah. So okay. Let me introduce Mr. Ilavarasu Somasundaram alias Somu, Chief Operating Officer, TTJ Design and Engineering Private Limited. He is graduated from Annamalai University in 1988. He has been with the company since 1992 and having exposure in steel structure fabrication, erection, and project management for the past 28 years in Singapore construction industry. Involved in many iconic projects in Singapore, to name a few such: Terminal 3 in Changi Airport, Super Trees at Gardens by the Bay, Helix Bridge, and Henderson Wave Bridge. Now, Mr. Somu, what are the challenges in construction industry going to face after this circuit breaker in Singapore, and how to make the business afloat after CB? Over to you, Mr. Somu.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for AAA to having me in this panel session. Come to the topic straight. Construction industry is one of the hardest hit industry in this COVID pandemic. The expected contraction in the industry is going to be about the region of 25 to 30% based on some analysis. But just out of 12 months, we have lost 2 full months of revenue itself. That itself is amount to be about 17%. On top of that, we control start measures by MTA and BCA. We will have further impact in our revenue. According to SCAL seminar recently, they say the control start measure is going to be 10% from June till 100% in end December or early January. Hope it can improve. Most of the construction sector is depending on materials from our neighboring source, that is Malaysia. Malaysia has got this MCO from 18 March, which is much earlier than our CB, which also impacted us in another way. And also most of the construction materials, and they come from China, which also has a lockdown from end January. With all the above, I think the contraction will not be around 25 to 30. It will maybe around 40 to 45% in my perception. This is not to scare anyone. This is the reality, and we have to take it on and move forward in this way, right? We have to adopt to so-called new normal. This is what government is saying now, because the way we do things, the way we do build things, the way we construct, we have to change. We have to adopt to new measures set by the authorities, like safe distancing and other things. Change is inevitable. We have to change. We'll learn and adapt new techniques from employer and employee point of view. This construction industry is always of more labor intensive industry. You know, now migrant workers in the dormitories are the most affected workers in the COVID-19 situation. This is one of the challenge the construction industry is facing now. We have to get them back into the work by doing some tests, make them negative and get back them to the work, which is a challenge for everyone in this industry. Everyone knows about that. Okay, this is the challenge. How do we sustain from this? To make the company afloat after the CB, look at the current situation and manage your business in the coming years. You have to look at the business plan and the business strategy. You have to look on the supply chain. Are you over dependent on any one of the source of supply? If you are really over dependent, you have to rethink of it. You might have experienced or heard from other players, very big companies like Hyundai Motors and others, really stop their production because they're over dependent on China on that point of time, and they have to fully shut down their plant because they only just depend on China for all the parts. We have to look at the other aspect like reducing the travel and other things like telecommuting even after CB, and make use of online platforms, meeting tools, which we are using now all the time. And this becomes a new normal. We don't have to go for a physical interaction anymore. I think this can save a cost for the company. Look at the new technology that is available with your business with a less manpower, or make use of your technology. See, you can be more productive or more efficient. Use this timing or use the after CB timing because you're not going to operate in full strength. So make use of an employee to go for a training and efficiently use their existing job scope and different competencies, train them in the different competencies. Just now Kiru was saying we have to train people. We can train people in different competencies, make them more efficient. Maintain your existing employees. Please don't lose them. They are your asset of the company. Always I encourage the employees are the asset of the company. This is an opportunity for us to really look into the business model and business strategy, and we do our business. We work, this is my view, it is a positive way of thinking at the crisis situation, and rather than worrying about this situation, be positive and look forward and move on. That's all, Sam. Back to you.
Thank you for your inputs, Mr. Somu. Your input, your points, especially on the cost management and resource management, may help our Annamalaians a lot. Thank you once again. Our next panelist, Mr. Annadurai, Director, Lovely Landscape and Construction Private Limited. Mr. Annadurai running his own company in Singapore since 2005. He has worked in several states in India, Singapore, and he had majored in agriculture from our Annamalai University in 1990. Specialized in tree transplanting and engineered countless products through the unique Cham Cha wood from Thailand. Lovely Landscape took a countless iconic projects such as Formula 1 race car, Singapore Authority, meaning PSA, Singapore Sports Club, Marina Bay Sands, and Ministry of Manpower.
எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம்.
On behalf of AAA Singapore, we warmly welcome all of our panelists today. Now, Mr. Annadurai, the questions for you is, Annadurai சொல்லிட்டு நம்ம வந்து ஆங்கிலத்துல பேசணும்னா தப்பா போயிடும். தமிழ்லயே கேக்குறேன் உங்கள்ட்ட. ஏன்னா அண்ணாதுரையும் தமிழும் எவ்வளவு நெருக்கன்னு தமிழ்நாட்டுக்கு தெரியும், நம்மளுக்கும் தெரியும். So கோவிட் சூழ்நிலையில உங்கள் நிறுவனத்தின் மீள்திறன் மற்றும் நிலைப்பாடு பற்றி சொல்ல முடியுமா?
கண்டிப்பாக. எல்லோருக்கும் வணக்கம். உங்களை எல்லாரையும் பார்க்கறது ரொம்ப மிக சந்தோஷம் அடையும். இப்ப நம்ம பொதுவாக இப்போதைக்கு சூழ்நிலையில ஆஃப்டர் கோவிட் பீரியட்ல நான் முக்கியமாக நினைக்கிறது வந்து ஊழியர்கள் அந்த கான்ட்ராக்ட் ஊழியர்கள் என்று வரும்போது நம்மளுக்கு எங்களை பொறுத்தவரை ஊழியர்கள் தான் சொத்து. நம்ம எந்த அளவுலையும் எந்த நிலையிலையும் நம்ம வந்து எந்த சூழ்நிலையும் நம்ம வந்து நம்ம விட்டுறக்கூடாது. ஏன்னாக்கா இப்போ ஆஃபீஸை பொறுத்தவரை ஆஃபீஸ்க்கு மொத்தம் 3 டைப் நாங்கள் வச்சுருக்கோம். அது வந்து ஆஃபீஸில் ஒர்க் பண்ணுறவங்க, அதோடு வந்து ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்டேஷன், 3வது வந்து ஜென்ரல் ஒர்க்கர்ஸ். ஆஃபீஸ் ஒர்க்கர்ஸை பொறுத்தவரை நாங்கள் வந்து ஆஃபீஸில் வந்து யாரையும் வேலைக்கு கிடைச்சி வீட்டில் இருந்து செஞ்சுக்கலாம்.
சாரி டு இன்டரப்ட். உங்க வாய்ஸ் ரொம்ப லோவா இருக்கு. கொஞ்சம் வேகமா.
அண்ணாதுரை மைக் கிட்ட போயிடுங்க. அண்ணாதுரை.
முதல்ல உங்களோட வாய்ஸ் கொஞ்சம் டல்லா இருக்கு. மைக் கிட்ட வச்சு பேசுங்க.
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 இல்லை, அலுவலகத்தில் வேலை செய்யறவங்களை பொறுத்தவரை வீட்டில இருந்து வேலை செய்யலாம் அப்படின்ற ஒரு பிளான் வச்சிருக்கோம். ஏன்னாக்கா அந்த துறை சார்ந்த மேலதிகாரி மட்டும் ஆஃபீஸ்ல வந்து வேலை செஞ்சா போதும். ஏன்னா வந்து வீட்டில இருந்து வேலை செய்யறதுனால ஆஃபீஸ்ல உள்ள மின் கட்டணங்கள் இல்ல மற்ற செலவுகள் வந்து பயண கட்டணம் எல்லாத்தையும் நம்ம கட்டுப்படுத்த முடியும். அதனால வந்து அவங்களுடைய சேலரியை குறைக்காம அவங்களுக்கு வந்து என்ன நம்ம வழங்கி கொடுக்கணுமோ அந்த அளவுக்கு நம்ம குறைக்காம கொடுக்கலான்ற ஒரு நிலைப்பாடு இருக்கு. 2வது அதுக்கு அடுத்தது வந்து ஸ்பெஷலிஸ்ட் கண்டிப்பா வந்து ஆஃபீஸ்ல வந்து வேலை செய்யணும் அவசியம் கிடையாது. அவங்க வந்து ஃபுல்லா, ஏன்னா நாங்க மெயினா ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றது ஃபுல்லா வந்து ட்ரீ கட்டிங்ஸ் ப்ராஜெக்ட்ஸ், ஏன்னா ஃபுல்லா அவுட் சைடு தான் இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருக்கு. ஸோ அவங்க வந்து கட் பண்ண முடியாது. கண்டிப்பா வந்து அவங்க வந்து வெளியில தான் ஃபுல்லா அவுட்டோர்ல தான் இருப்பாங்க. ஸோ அதை நாங்கள் ஒன்றும் பண்ண முடியாது. ஏன்னா அவங்கள பொறுத்தளவு கண்டிப்பா அவங்களுடைய இது வந்து எங்களுக்கு டெய்லி அவங்களுடைய விசிட் இருக்கும் அவுட்டோர்ல. ஜென்ரல் ஒர்க்கர்ஸ் பொறுத்தளவு இப்ப ஃபுல்லா எல்லாம் ஹாஸ்டல்ல லாக்டவுன் ஆயிருப்பாங்க, எல்லாம் மன உளைச்சல் இருப்பாங்க. இல்ல என்ன அவங்க வந்து அவங்களுக்கு இப்போ ஊருக்கு போன்ற ஒரு மென்டாலிட்டி இருக்கு. இப்ப அந்த மென்டாலிட்டி இப்போ எப்படி ஒரு என்ன பண்ணுறதுனாக்கா சிறு குழுக்களா ஒரு 2 to 3 months வந்து கழிச்சு சிறு குழுக்களா ஒரு 2 to 3 months இன்டர்வல்ல ஒரு குரூப்பா அனுப்புறோம். ஆனா அவங்க ஊருக்கு போயிருந்தா கூட அவங்க சம்பளத்தை எதுவும் நம்ம குறைக்காம முடிஞ்ச அளவுக்கு கவர் பண்ணி அவங்களுக்கு நாங்க அனுப்புறதுக்கு பாக்குறோம். ஏன்னா அவங்களுடைய சந்தோஷம் தான் நம்மளுடைய வளர்ச்சி நான் நினைக்கிறேன். இப்போதைக்கு அதுதான். அதுக்கடுத்து வந்து நான் என்ன மெயினா ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றேன்னாக்கா ஃபுல்லா வந்து மிஷினரிஸை யூஸ் பண்ணி ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டியை அதிகப்படுத்தலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு, அதனால வந்து இப்போ மிஷினரிஸ் வந்து இப்போ பிளான் பண்ணிருக்கு கொஞ்சம் வாங்கலாம் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு. இப்போ இன்னொரு விதத்துல பார்த்தோம்னாக்கா கிளைண்ட்ஸ் வந்து ரிக்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணி இப்போ நாங்க வந்து மெயின்லி வந்து ஸ்கூல்ஸ், காண்டோமினியம்ஸ் இதுல வந்து மெயின்டெனன்ஸ் வேலை பாக்குறதுனால இன்னும் கொஞ்சம் அவங்க அத்தாரிட்டிஸ்ட ரிக்வெஸ்ட் பண்ணி 8 to 5ங்கிறது 8 to 7 கொடுத்து ஓவர் டைம்லாம் கொடுத்து இன்னும் ப்ரொடக்டிவிட்டி இன்க்ரீஸ் பண்ணலாமா அப்படின்ற ஒரு நிலையை நாங்கள் எடுத்திருக்கோம். இன்னொரு விஷயத்த என்னன்னாக்கா காம்படிஷன் ப்ரைஸ் கொடுத்து நம்ம வேலையை நல்லா தக்க வச்சுக்கலாமா அப்படின்றது பிளான் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். சத்தியமாக தான் சார்.
நன்றி திரு அண்ணாதுரை அவர்களே. வேற ஏதாவது சொல்ல விரும்புறீங்களா?
இல்ல, இப்போதைக்கு தான் இதுதான் முக்கியமான டீடைல்ஸ்.
நன்றி. ஸோ வெற்றிகரமா நம்ம இப்போ ஒரு 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 முழு சுற்றை முடிச்சிட்டோம். அடுத்த சுற்றுக்கு இப்போ நம்ம போறோம். Now the question goes to Mr. Somasundaram again.
Yeah, I'm back.
Are you ready for the question?
Yeah, I'm back. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So the question is this: to make business survive after circuit breaker, what are all the fundings available from the government, and what should the firms look out for their own means?
Okay.
Thank you.
Grants. Singapore government has given a lot of grants in this budgets with the solidarity budget and others. It has given around $60 billion in this budget, and also there is one more budget is going to come in the 26th of May. The DPM says in the parliament is going to announce in the parliament. I hope that will help the industry. It's mostly based on the business things, and the grants whatever he has given so far in the business side is all available in the MTI website. You can see job support scheme, JSS, enhanced wage credit scheme, deferment of income tax payment, property tax rebate for 2020, rental waivers, corporate income tax rebate, and foreign worker levy waiver. This foreign worker levy waiver is the very important thing everyone in the industry is looking for, because 2 months we don't have to pay levy, and we are looking forward for a few more months to the government can look into it, because that's a big amount of money we are going to spend without any productivity, right? So this is one of the important thing, and government has given a lot of benefits for S-Pass holders, Singaporeans, Singapore PRs, for the companies to survive during this period of time. To me, as a business people, I look at 3 C's. One is a cash flow, second one is a cost, the third one is the credit. When everyone is looking at the cash flow all the time, because you must have a positive cash flow, then you'll be peaceful in mind and you can think over on your business in a better manner. You have to discuss with your suppliers in other agencies to defer or waive. Sometimes you can waive off the payments or share the payments in this pandemic time during these 2 months and further on. Look at every means how to manage your cost in the coming months rather than saying cutting your costs. I always tell my staff and my GMs, I say, don't cut your costs, you manage your costs. Okay. Look at your SOPs. You might be having SOPs in every company, fine tune them to be more efficient and do the changes accordingly to cut your costs. Sorry, again, manage your cost of operation. Look at the benefits you are providing to your employees, because the lifeline given by the government, the grant, is only for a certain period of time. It's not going to be forever, right? So you got to look at your own means, how you want to manage your business. It's not going to be forever from the government. So look at the benefits you are providing to your staff and explain to your employees to sacrifice something. Don't cut the salary and save some reserve, right, in the coming months to sustain your business, right? So how can you do this? If now you are working from home, if you have a travel allowance, for example, I'm just saying, if you have travel allowances for your staff, if you are working from home, you can very well look into it because they don't have to spend any money on the travel. So you can cut that cost. So that is a saving. It's small. Every drop makes an ocean, right? You don't have to worry about, I'm only saving $5 or $500 or $50. That doesn't matter. Every dollar counts at this point of time. Talk to your financial institutions and banks. See whether they can defer the loan repayments. Ask for few more lines for the cash flow. And don't ask the cash flow for unnecessary purposes. You've got to plan your cash flow and you project your business during this time and spend wisely. Even at home, we always think of how to spend wisely, right? We cannot just spend lavishly, because if your income is getting down, as Kirba says, your salary is 7,000. You can expect down the road in 3 months' time, it may go around 4,000. So you got to do your expenses within 4,000, right? Yeah. We have to look for all these means. If a company has got a positive cash flow, if you have a reserve for 6 months, that's very, very good. If you have a reserve for 3 months, that's good enough. But you don't run in a difficult line. You have to make sure you got some cash flow in your hand, positive cash flow in your hand, so that you don't have any disruption to your business at this point of time. Always, I say, manage your costs with your own means rather than depending on third parties. That's my view. Thank you, Sandal.
Thank you, Mr. Somu, for your inputs on current fundings. Hope all of our.
By the way, if you want to look at some of the fundings from the government, you can go to Enterprise Singapore portals. You can explore from there a lot of fundings, as well as Spring Singapore. There is a lot of fundings available. It depends on the industry and depends on the model, what you're doing. Then they will arrange funds for you. So you got to look into those items. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Somu, for your inputs on current fundings. Hope all of our entrepreneurs have got an idea about the fundings. And also, I hope your 3C strategies might help a lot. Anyway, thank you so much. Now, my question is to Mr. Kiru. Mr. Kiru?
Yes, I'm back again.
Yes. Okay. My question is how to manage and overcome challenges in workplace safety and training industry.
Okay, let me start. So we need to have a paradigm shift. what we do earlier and what we are going to do, it's going to be a paradigm shift from the beginning. So Neduvom Somu sonanga, what is that? They say pandemic. I coined differently. It is a panic-demic. Panic-demic. So this has created, because all the people are in panic. So my suggestions, my way forward thinking is business, be first in the market. How to be first in the market in this COVID? Because the past history, even anomaly entrepreneurs, when health and safety was regulated, they were in the first. Some 4 of them, I don't want to name it. 4 of them, they were in the first. So they've been. And one of the P board member, so he always known for first, because when the P geotechnical was announced, regulated, he was the first and he take on his calls. And when QUCP, Qualified Environmental Control Professionals, was introduced, he again first. He takes the being first as a businessman. And when design for safety regulation was introduced, he again first. So that is how being first. So for this, in this situation, COVID business, what can be the being first? Because now the codes may change, the regulations may change. So the new designs coming up, because I involved in some of the projects where they say new design criteria that allows social distancing space and isolation space. So those are the new things we need to be prepared. Because earlier, some time ago, because after the World War, we are always thinking about war. So in all HDB buildings, housings, they prepare design CD shelter because they want to prepare for bombings. But now we need to prepare for, because the CD shelter is irrelevant now. Sorry, the lift design changes because now no more press by hand. You need to press by your leg. So that is new things. And that is in the training business. Yesterday, Yamuna was mentioning, right? One of the committee member, she was saying her word is flip learning. My word is blended learning. So online training, blended learning, flip learning, all the things coming into new way of doing things. Preparing this, because this low period, because next 6 months, we don't know what's going to happen. In this low period, we need to skill, upskill, reskill, and for this, there is a funding available from government. So WDA and UTAP funding, there are so many fundings available, especially in Singapore. So that's what we need to look into for business sense. Because yesterday, our counterpart, one of the speaker, Karthik, spoke in India. He talked about continuity beyond business continuity, because business continuity is a temporary solutions. But beyond business continuity, that means a lot. So every business is how to continue beyond business continuity. That is a lot means to us. We need to adapt for that. And freelancers and working professionals in the safety industry, they must adopt and embrace for new skills. Because 5 years later, whatever the job that we are going to perform, today the skills does not exist. So as the way we go along, we need to prepare for the new skills. If you don't prepare for it, you are out. So you need to do that. So that is on freelancers as well as working professionals. So these are the things how we need to sustain in our business. But having said that, don't be too ambitious, because the women entrepreneurs in India, they were talking about well-being is critical, because now in this uncertain period, because now we don't know many things uncertain. COVID வந்து திரும்பி வருமா வராதா? விஜய் பஞ்ச் டயலாக் மாதிரி வருமா வராதா தெரியல, நமக்கு தெரியல. செகண்ட் வேவ் வருமா வராதா அதுவும் நமக்கு தெரியல. மெடிசன் கண்டுபிடிப்பாங்களா கண்டுபிடிக்க மாட்டாங்களா அதுவும் நமக்கு தெரியல. ஃபுட்டு நமக்கு ரெகுலரா வருமா வராதா அதுவும் நமக்கு தெரியல. ராமலிங்கம் இருக்காரு, ஒன்றும் பிரச்சனை இல்லை, ஒரு 2 மூட்டை அரிசி வாங்கி வச்சுக்கின்னு கஞ்சி ஊற்றி குடிச்சாவது போச்சுக்கலாம் கொஞ்ச நாளைக்கு. So that is the way currently now. Our immediate challenge is, because 3 months ago we talked so many things. Now our immediate challenge is வீட்டை விட்டு எப்படி வெளியே சேஃபா போய் வர்றது. அதுதான் இப்ப இருக்கிற இமீடியட் சேலஞ்ச். மாஸ்க போடணுமா, கையை கழுவணுமா, அதை பண்ணணுமா, இதை பண்ணணுமான்னு சொல்லிட்டு தட் இஸ் வாட். அண்ட் அதாவது 25 வயசுல நம்ம வேலை தேடும் போதெல்லாம் சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல, என்ன சொல்லுவாங்கன்னா ஹெல்த் இஸ் வெல்த்ன்னுவாங்க. அப்ப என்னடா கிறுக்கு பையா, கையில காசே இல்லை, வேணாம் இதை பத்தி பேசுறானேன்னு சொல்லிட்டு நம்ம எல்லாம் நினைச்சோம். பட் நாவ் ஹெல்த் இஸ் வெல்த்ன்றது எனக்கு 46 வயசுல தான் தெரியும். ஏன்னா ப்ராப்ளம் வந்தால் தான் வந்து அதனுடைய அர்த்தமே புரியும். சின்ன வயசுல அப்பா சொல்லுவாங்க சில இதெல்லாம், அப்ப புரியாது, லேட்டா தான் புரியும். அந்த மாதிரி கோவிட் வந்த பிறகு சில விஷயங்கள் as we go along we learn. Last but not least, இப்போ ஒரு விஷயம் நான் சொல்லணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். எனக்கு வந்து நம்ம அண்ணாமலையின் சீனியர் ஒருத்தர் வந்து நம்மள ரொம்ப பாதர் பண்ணினே இருப்பாரு. அவரு தான் நம்ம வந்து லிவிங் லெஜெண்டா வந்து அடிக்கடி நம்ம யோசிக்கிறதுன்னா அவரை பத்தி தான். அவர் யாருன்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும், ஒருவேளை இந்தியாவில் இருக்கிறவங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் தெரியாது, டாக்டர் ஐயங்கரன். அவருடைய லைஃப் ஸ்டைல் பார்த்தீங்கன்னு வச்சுங்களேன், ஸோ பியாண்ட் பிஸ்னஸ் எவ்ரி திங், லைஃப் ஸ்டைல், த வே ஹி லிவ்ஸ், தட் இஸ் வாட் ஐ வாண்டட் டு லேர்ன். அது அவர் மாதிரி ஒரு ஆளை கண்டுபிடிச்சேன், சைனீஸ் அவரு. அப்புறம் மற்றவங்க எல்லாம் வி ஆர் வெரி following the track, but some of us, but some, we not only business as a major challenges we face, we also try to live. ஸோ அதனால நான் வந்து ஹார்ட் ஒர்க் பண்றேன்னா கொஞ்சம் பேர் சிரிக்கிறாங்க, என்னன்னு தெரியல. நான் வந்து ஹார்ட் ஒர்க்குன்னு சொன்னா நம்ம ரஹீம் இருக்காப்ல, அவர் ரொம்ப சிரிப்பாப்ல. என்ன 10 மணிக்கு போயிட்டு நீ 5 மணிக்கு வந்துடுற, நீ என்ன ஹார்ட் ஒர்க் பண்றேன்னு. நான் ஹார்ட் ஒர்க் பண்ற மாதிரி நான் நினைச்சுக்கிறேன். ஸோ தட் இஸ் my point of view on sustainability and moving forward from this COVID pandemic. Over to you, Sendal.
Thank you, Mr. Guru. Your views on preparing for new skills will be very useful, and also it's very humor. Thank you for your time. Now it's a time for me to raise the next question to Mr. Ram. Hello, Mr. Ram. Please on your cam. Yes. Can I proceed?
Sure.
In Singapore, some industry verticals may slow down and some may boom. In your view, which are all those industries that would slow down and which are all the industries will grow?
Okay, before going into that discussion, see, any businesses, there's two things, right? I mean, first thing is you have to adopt to the new norms. So whichever industry adopts to the new norms and when changes to the new way of doing business will not be affected. So we cannot generalize on this industry is going to be affected. I mean, every industry has been affected in one way or the other. I mean, people even say, oh, supermarket business has been booming these days. But actually, it's not true. It's not true for every sector. Those, like even for my case, those Sri Murugan outlets which are in the neighborhoods, in HDBs, has been doing well. But those which are based on foreign migrant workers has been doing very bad because nobody has been allowed to come on. So it's not going to be. I mean, we cannot say this industry is going to have challenges. But of course, we know what are all the industries which are going to have challenges. Typically, I can say tourism is going to be very badly affected. I mean, I think the next 2-3 months, people are not, even if things get better and get back to normal. When I say normal is the old way of doing things, I think people are going to be conservative in traveling for two reasons. One is out of fear, and another one is they're not going to have money to spend, right? The last 2-3 months has been quite tough on everybody, so they're not going to have money to spend. So the next 2-3 months, definitely tourism is going to be affected. But like all of a sudden, some government, like let's say Singapore, will come in and say, oh, hotels are going to be subsidized for 25% and the flights are going to be subsidized for 25%. There could be somebody who's traveling around, right? So it depends on how the government and the industry reacts to this situation. Definitely aviation is going to be affected as well. I think there's no doubt about it. because a lot of travel has been put on hold. I think for the next 2-3 months, even if things get better, travel, business travel is going to be questioned a lot. So only essential travels are going to happen, right? Obviously, when tourism and aviation gets affected, the next thing would be the restaurants and F&B businesses. I think restaurants will be affected as well. Maybe after the circuit breaker crosses phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. I think phase 3, the restaurants are going to open. So there could be some rush to go and have their favorite foods for some time. But I think the fear is always going to be there. So that industry is definitely going to be affected. Anything which has to happen, any luxury things, cars and or anything which you be considered as luxury is definitely going to be affected. I think the impact, we have not really seen the impact of the slowdown yet. I think people have been living on their savings for the next 1-2 months. I think the real impact will come in after 3 to 6 months time. I think that's where we will see the real impact, because the public spending is going to go down. I think that's definitely. So when all these industries have been affected, definitely construction is going to be put under a lot of stress. I think like what Mr. Soma was telling, I think that will be one of the worst hit industries. But one thing what we have seen earlier is during recession, the government comes in and pumps in a lot of money into infrastructure projects and construction. So typically what we have seen earlier is whenever there is a recession, all the industries suffer except construction. Construction booms during recession. And new projects comes in because the cost of doing new projects comes down, and a lot of companies obviously comes in and pumps a lot of money to do new projects. So hopefully some of this might happen. I mean, if it happens, it's good. Petrochemical, it's of course with oil prices at this level, petrochemicals are going to be under a lot of stress as well. And eventually the marine and shipbuilding industries will be affected definitely for the next few months until the oil prices comes up. This will be under stress. But petrochemical with such a low oil prices might show some profitability here and there, but the overall consumption could drop and will bring down their P&Ls. Manufacturing sectors, I see most of them, those which are directly linked to the consumers' consumption are going to be affected. Like petrochemical will be affected as well. Those like medicines, bio industries will have some neutral. You know, some medicines will do well, some medicines are not going to do well. But in general, medical and medical equipment industries are expected to do well in the next short term, at least for the next 3 to 6 months time. Hospitals obviously are going to be put under a lot of stress as well, because now I don't think I visited an hospital in the last 6 months, you know, or at least in the last 4 or 5 months. Even if I get sick, I will just take some medicines and be at home rather than going and risking my life and going to some hospitals or specialists. You know, even so, those are going to be put under a lot of stress in the next 2-3 months until the situation gets. Unless it becomes emergency, people are not going to go to the hospital. All right. I think somebody was even telling the death rate in India has come down a lot in the last 3 to 6 months because nobody has visited the hospitals. I don't know how true it is, and I don't want to offend any doctors, but these are some of the things what I've heard. Which are all the industries which are expected to do well? Anything which is a fundamental business, a food business, or anything which is essential services, of course, will get back. You know, like when people stop eating in restaurants and going out on tourists and things like that, then the supermarket business, the F&B business should pick up. That is what we have seen in the last 3 to 4 months. Typically, the supermarket businesses are getting better because people are eating at home, you know, cooking at home. And actually this should be covered. One thing which is very important, the new business which is picking up very fast is online. I mean, online has always been a hero for the last 4 or 5 years, but I think the necessity for online businesses, and it has become more like an essential services now. So anybody who is embarking on online businesses, it's not about food, but any businesses will definitely see a positive growth in the next 2 to 3 months time. I mean, from our point of view, like making how do we change the new way of doing business, like our own outlets which are doing well, forget about it, but those outlets which are more based in the migrant workers side, we have seen a drastic loss in sales, and we have converted those into online businesses in a way. We have increased our online deliveries. We used to do like 40-50 deliveries a day. We have increased to about 150-200, 2 times, 3 times. We are using those facilities to cater for this. So this is one way of changing your business model to the new way or the new normal, right? Anything to do with digital is going to be good as well, from what I see. Semiconductors are going to do well, because when digital businesses are good, semiconductors are expected to do well. And most important, like there are some, I was talking with some of my friends, and then they were very busy in semiconductor. The reason is because a lot of countries don't want to buy from China. I think for some political reasons, they don't want to buy from China. So the next semiconductor giant, obviously, would be Singapore, will be one of them as well. So Singapore semiconductor is actually doing well during this time. So these are some of the opportunities will come up, and then industries have to embark on those. So these are some of the things which I think will happen. But like, once again, it really depends on how the whole world is going to react to this virus and the COVID-19 in the next 2 to 3 months. If things are good, if it's smooth the way it is now, I won't say it's smooth now, but at least if it gets better from here on, things will be better, of course. But once again, the biggest challenge is always how do we change ourselves to the new norms and the way of doing business, the new way of doing business. So if we can do that, any time, the businesses will be good.
Thank you, Mr. Ramalingam, for your detailed insights and growth assessments on multiple industry verticals. Really gives an idea about the current situation. Thank you. Now, our questions goes to Mr. Ilan. Mr. Ilan?
Yes. I mean,
Sir, please on your cam. We all wanted to see you.
yes, sure. Yeah.
Okay. The question for you is, will the situation favor aspiring entrepreneurs in the post-COVID-19 era in Singapore, India, and across the globe? If so, which industries will it be?
Oh, good question. Yes, I mean, there are a lot of bright spots available. This is something not because of COVID or something. The emerging technology is also available, for us to explore. One thing good is, though there is a constraint on the construction industry because of the workforce limitations and other regulations, now it is going to become must. Maybe a government BCA may come out with the rule that no work concreting or scaffolding, nothing should be done at site. Everything has to be modular, and you just bring and fit it. There are some HDB and flats are built like this with minimum site work. This could be a norm now. So what is the opportunity for us in this? This will open up a lot of things for engineers. All the buildings, multi-story buildings, maybe engineered as a prefabricated module with a 3D model. Okay, it could be even 3D printing. I mean, nowadays concrete can be used as a printing medium, and kitchen or hall, toilet, these all can be done outside. including the cabling, including the sanitary work, all the fittings, interior, all done outside. This can come inside. So this is one possibility. I'm sure structural is possible, structural buildings compared to concrete building. So the methodology may change. But this could be one opportunity for engineers like us with the multiple disciplinary experience. I see that's opportunity, emerging opportunity for us. Okay. Then the next area is a huge area. It's a digital transformation. See, digital transformation is opening up everywhere, and with this remote working or telecommuting, all those stuff in place, lot of things going to be monitored from offices. Like you take NEA today monitors the whole Singapore in terms of environment, in terms of energy, so many parameters they do it. So all those things is going to become digital. They already started working on that. There are companies, startup companies working on that. So what does it mean? Suppose you have a hotel running, you want to measure how much energy it is consuming, how much air intake, how much heat it is producing to the environment. All those things can be monitored remotely. Nobody going there. You put your IoT device, and this gives all the digital to the cloud, and it goes to NEA. Somebody sitting in the NEA office have a dashboard. They see New Park Hotel, how much they are consuming. This type of things. Maybe this meaning all the things going to be digital. Like whatever we did earlier, we are doing now. Like you want to have a you are running and you want to take how much you are running. All those things become digital now. How you have it. Like blood pressure you can do, heartbeat you can do. So this is in your handphone. The same thing. All the hotel or any this thing could be a power plant, could be a kitchen. So many things can be converted into digital. It is going to happen another 3-4 years. I'm sure this is a huge opening, particularly for engineers, because it needs a device to be installed, a device to be commissioned, and it should be hooked up. A lot of configuration to be done. People like you, like blockchain or AI, all those things will come into play. Okay, that is a huge area which can be explored. In this one, probably our next generation, this is a huge opportunity. Our kids, I'm sure for them this is sort of a way, that they know what it is. And with our support, we all have a sort of advantage because we have a second generation coming up. We all lived 20-30 years here, so we have something. So we can help the second generation to go into this area with our support. I see a big opportunity for us in this. Okay, there is another huge area is go regional with the government support. Government is really pushing. In fact, it's not happening to the way they push, and is only 30-40% is happening. With the area which we can go in is already sort of a matured technology or matured expertise available in Singapore. People see Singapore, they know. We have a huge airport, we know how to operate the airport. We have a fantastic MRT network. They know, everybody knows. No need to tell. You don't need to do marketing. Like this, we have many, like power plants, water circuit, water utilities. All these things we have a huge advantage. So maybe since we are here, we can take some, some area of expertise in that and go with the local Chinese company or the government. Go, regional. That's, to me, is a huge area. I'm sure our people can take it as an opportunity. What I see here is we are all operating in, like a small company now. Somebody is good in design. Somebody is very good in construction. Somebody is providing survey. Somebody is geotechnic. All these things happening. We have all the expertise available. Maybe if we put together, this maybe, it will give sort of a considerable visibility to the end users, yes, to talk to us. So that could be another area. Somebody takes a lead and forms sort of a consortium of these services and go a bigger way. That is, I see it's a possible scenario for us. Okay. There is one area, another area, the recently food security. Government has announced 63 million agriculture productivity fund. That means, it is going to open up. You can have on top of HDB blocks, rooftop gardens and different type of integrated gardens. One fellow has come up in his fish farm. All the water he's using it for growing vegetable in another layer. So everything shed and all the same. He put another layer, hydroponic type or aquaponic type, and he's producing. That type of integrated approach in agri is a huge push because government wants security. 30% of the food to be produced here, maybe another over 3-4 years. So we are all from agriculture background. I am sure we all can jump in. Maybe even our family can support. This could be additional income, area to explore. So there are other areas like pharma and medical. These two areas definitely going to pick up in Singapore because of our advantage. So these areas, whoever is there or whoever want to go in, they can definitely go in. See, for the youngsters who are going to come or the aspirant entrepreneurs, nothing, they are starting new, so nothing, nothing to lose. Maybe people already started, maybe some risk, but the new people, nothing to lose. You start fresh. So I see these are the areas definitely has potential, and we can venture into.
Thank you, Mr. Yun, for your insight and advices for aspiring entrepreneurs and detailed note on almost you are giving insights for all. You are covering all the industry verticals. If I am not wrong. Thank you for a detailed note. Now, my questions to Mr. Annadurai. Mr. Annadurai.
Hello.
Mic on பண்ணிட்டீங்களா?
பண்ணியாச்சு.
பேசலாமா?
தாராளமா.
Okay. Now, the questions for you is, what's the current market responses and after the COVID? அதாவது தற்போதைய மற்றும் பிந்தைய COVID-19க்கு பிந்தைய மார்க்கெட் ரெஸ்பான்ஸ் எப்படி இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? உங்களோட பிசினஸ் எப்படி இருக்கும்னு நினைக்கிறீங்க? நம்பர் 1. And also, what's your plan to keep your customer? இப்போ உங்கள்ட்ட நிறைய கஸ்டமர்ஸ் இருப்பாங்க. What's your plan to keep your customer? அவங்களுக்கு ஏதோ ஆஃபர்ஸ் இருக்கா? இல்ல how do you plan and strategize to keep your business?
ஓகே, கண்டிப்பா நான் என்ன எதிர்பார்க்கிறேன்னாக்கா, இப்ப 2 மாசம் வந்து ஃபுல்லா பராமரிப்பு இல்லாதனால நிறைய இடங்கள்ல வந்து செடிகள், கொடிகள், மரங்கள் எல்லாம் இறந்து போயிருக்க வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. அதனால அடுத்த 3 மாசத்துக்கு நாங்க ரொம்ப பிஸியாவே நல்ல வேலை பழுவோட தான் இருப்போம்னு நான் எதிர்பார்க்கிறேன். ஏன்னாக்கா வேற வழி கிடையாது. நான் ஒரு 20% இருந்து 30% வரைக்கும் ஃபுல்லா நிறைய இடத்துல பிளான் மரம் இறந்து போயிட்டு, ஏன்னா தண்ணி பராமரிப்பு எதுவுமே இல்லாதனால. ஸோ இந்த சிச்சுவேஷன் நான் முக்கியமா காண்டோமினியம், ஸ்கூல்ஸ், ஆபீஸ், மற்ற பொது இடங்கள், இப்ப சில இடங்கள்ல வந்து கிளைகள்லாம் உடைஞ்சி, மரத்துடைய கிளைகள்லாம் உடைஞ்சி கீழே உளுந்து உயிர்க்கே ஆபத்து வரக்கூடிய சூழ்நிலைகள்லாம் நடந்துருக்கு. ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி காலகட்டத்தில் எங்களுக்கு வேலைப்பளு ரொம்ப ஜாஸ்தியா தான் இருக்கும்னு நாங்கள் எதிர்பார்க்கிறோம். இதை நான் பாசிட்டிவா தான் பாக்குறேன். 2வது, நீங்க கிளையண்ட்டை வந்து எப்படி தக்க வச்சுக்கிறதுன்னு கேக்குறீங்க. நான் என்ன எதிர்பார்க்கிறேன்னாக்கா, கிளையண்ட்டை வந்து நெக் டு நெக், அதாவது இப்ப வந்து லாபத்தை பார்க்காம எப்படி நம்ம கஸ்டமர் வந்து தக்க வச்சுக்கிறது அப்படின்ற முறையில தான் நான் எதிர்பார்க்கிறேன். எந்த சூழ்நிலையும் கஸ்டமர் நம்ம விட்டுறக்கூடாது, ஒர்க்கரையும் விட்டுறக்கூடாது. இன்கேஸ் வேலையே இல்லைன்னா கூட என் ஒர்க்கரை வந்து நான் வந்து கண்டிப்பா வந்து ட்ரைனிங்க்கு அனுப்பிச்சு அவங்க ஸ்கில்ஸை வந்து இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்றதுக்கான வாய்ப்புகள் நான் ஏற்படுத்துவேன். அதான் இப்போதைக்கு உள்ள சூழ்நிலை.
நீங்க ரொம்ப தெளிவா சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க. ஐ மீன் இது வந்து உங்களோட வியூ சொல்லியிருக்கீங்க. என்ன அப்படின்னா, there are multiple industry verticals in and around the globe. சில industry verticals, I mean some industry verticals may affected a lot. I mean especially IT பாத்தீங்கன்னா ரொம்ப நிறைய அஃபெக்ட் ஆயிருக்கு. ஈவன் some other industries also. ஸோ அதனால தான் உங்களோட வியூ கேட்டோம். தேங்க்யூ ஃபார் யூர் வியூ. தேங்க்யூ ஸோ மச்.
ஓகே, நன்றி.
இப்போ almost we are in the final stage of this panel discussion. Now it's a time for Q&A for the participants. now we are open for the questions. Anyway, I hope we received so many questions in the chat box. Let me ask one by one. The first question from Dr. Murugapan, it seems. Mr. Ram, his question to Mr. Ram. Mr. Ram, can you please on your cam and mic?
Yes, I'm here.
Lot of us are in construction. You are one of those who started a business during the recession. Do you think it is a good time to start a business? What are the business with the prospects in your opinion?
I think I briefly touched on that during my second phase of talk.
Okay.
See, starting business, it can be done at any time. I think there is no timing on when to start business and when not to start business. I think you have to look at what are all the opportunities coming up in the next 3 to 6 months or a year. If you closely monitor the government announcements and things like that, and the direction what government is taking and the direction what the other countries are taking, and then you should be able to come out with some businesses which in line with that, what government is thinking. Somebody, like yesterday came and did a presentation on the automatic scanning and digital machine. What it does is when you go past it, it scans your IC and then it takes your temperature and you go in. Which means you don't need to put somebody there to note down the particulars and do the temperature checking and things like that. So somebody has already worked on it within a short time, and he says he's going to bring in about 1,000 machines into Singapore in the next 1 to 2 weeks. And I think it's a good idea. I mean, at least at this moment of time, when COVID is there and people are taking advantage of that situation and trying to transform into a new business model. So there is no timing for that. I mean, as I told you, you have to find out and see which suits you better and what is the government direction and see whether we can explore something and move on. So I think that hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Mr. Ram. Let's move on to the next question. Question from Mr. Mahendra. Question to Mr. Kiru and Mr. Somu. Both of you, please go ahead and on your cam and as well as mic.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Kiru and Mr. Somu, so do you see need for building up online training infrastructure through VR, mean VR and AR technologies now, so that the market improves and you will be in a position to scale up? Is government providing any funding assistance towards the building digitalization of training? It's exclusively training and also funding.
Yes.
The reason Mr. Mahendra asking, both of you. So please go ahead.
No, yes, it is. Because the government now, IMDA, Spring Singapore, they are offering go online trainings. So WDA also announced some fundings, but the details yet to come. So that is on funding, but virtual reality, all this is a necessity for the future training. Because now last week when we apply for training for another training centers for approval, the Ministry of Manpower sent a question because they raised a doubt. How do you ensure the test is being conducted? Can you see any artificial intelligence based on eye movements? So those things they raised a concern because we are working on it for other centers, but we will be slowly learning and improving. Does this answers your question?
I hope you covered. How about what's your view, Mr. Somu?
Yeah. Okay. It's a good question anyway. We have a training center in India for the overseas testing training center in India for the workers to train them first before we bring them back to Singapore. That means you test them first and then certify them with the BCA, then you bring them back. So 4 months back, BCAD, I can say they have oversight. They already look into the webcam and online training session and online testing session in India. That means the BCA officers is not traveling. They just want the BCA officers to be in BCA. Every month we used to have a testing in India, but now they just don't want to travel because of this pandemic and travel restrictions. So they oversee this before, very early. Then they say that this is going to be a new normal for that industry. They want to do all the testing, sitting here and watching the testing happening in India and certify them and bring them back. So there is some drawbacks which we are working out on it and see how best we can come out with that, and then we go on to this. This is going to be really a good thing, and it's going to come up, so it reduces our cost, because we used to travel, we send our tester from here to say India, that is a cost again. So all these costs we can cut down. These are the things we can look into it. Yes, it's going to be the new norms.
Thank you, Mr. Somu. Again, questions to you as well as Mr. Kuru. I think you are attracted almost most of the audiences. The question is, the safety theoretical training can be given online like Zoom, Google Meet, etc. Practical lessons for the Q&G workers, how is it possible? If everything is online, your overhead cost on classroom, overheads like electricity, water, paper, material, all are not required at all. So then if your training charges are less and competitive, I feel, do you agree with the course cost to be reduced? Yes. You should be
okay. So the course cost reducing, because now I'm working with Scale Academia, because there the professional courses, MOM and WSH Council, they allowed to go for it online, because professionals, they don't worry about. But for worker level, they want a physical training, but it is yet to be worked on. What is the new methodology, whether which other artificial intelligence, and because now they say simulated learnings, all these in place. So whether this one, how to work on, we need to find ways, because now we enter into the situation, because that is what I say, because now whatever that necessity is mother of invention, because now we are in the need. Now we are thinking, breaking our head, and we are moving forward. So on the cost reduction, because government and government agencies always, they say, if government funded 90%, again, your cost is less, because most of the government agencies, they fund most of the courses. So cost wise, only 10%. So that is how Singapore will survive. So I think I can ask Mr. Somu to supplement this.
Yeah, I agree with you, but the thing is, normally in the industry or in our business, we want to have a change. People will not accept it, right? Now we are forced to go for a change, right?
Yes.
This is the norm. You have to change, right?
Yeah.
So this is the way. This is where we have to find a way how to work with it. And I said before, most of the construction industry things are always body system, right? So you have to work two together. If you can take as a boom lift operation, yeah, for instance, yeah, you have to have two people operating in the boom lift, right? You cannot be having one people on the boom lift, right? So one is operating, the other one is doing the work. So in this particular scenario, how you want to do an online training, you have to have some offline, right? Then some online. That is theoretical part you can do online, but the practical things you might go for on physical training that is needed, I believe.
Yes, that is why we propose blended learning. Off-site learning is online training, and physical training is for a short while. We minimize the effects.
Yes. Yeah.
So that is what you call blended learning.
Yeah,
so that is the approach. Yes, please.
The answer will be fulfilled. Let me move to the next question. The question again to Mr. Ram. Mr. Ram? Yes. So the question is, now itself, we see 15 to 20% hike on grocery costing all over the Singapore. Since lockdown in India is almost going to be 2 months, the cultivation was literally stopped and the harvest takes minimum of 90 days. To match the supply demand situation, the grocery price will still go up till the production is back to normal level, as the food shortage is going to be all over the world. What's your opinion?
Okay, I think, see, most of us are here, since we are in Singapore, we are more dependent on the Indian
Yes.
food supply chain. I think at least our group of people. So let's not talk too much on the world supplies, but let's talk about the Indian food supplies. See, India has enough food supplies. When I say so, raw material is there, rice is there, wheat is there. And to be frank, India had a bumper harvest this year, which means in October, in Jan, Feb this year, they saw the highest rice production. So there's abundant rice in Karnataka and in and Tamil Nadu and most of the places. But the challenge is the logistics. You know, how do you bring the rice from India to Singapore? Right. I think that's where the challenge has been in the last 2 months. So it's not actually a cultivation issue or you know, like there was no cultivation and then there's a demand of product. But the issue is the logistics. How do you bring it over? And that's why the prices have gone up. So when things gets normal and the logistics situation gets better, the prices should come back to normal. A lot of wheat is there, but wheat flour is not available from India. So the reason was because, once again, the logistic issue of getting wheat from the farmers to the mills to grind and make it into wheat flour and into different brands, and then it comes to Singapore. So we are not able to get the brand what you need. And once again, it's a logistic issue. So it's not about cultivation. See, as I told you, India is specializing in food exports, and the next 2-3 months is crucial for India as well. See how this whole thing turns out, and if things are under control, prices will definitely come down to back to normal, or maybe even less than what we were selling earlier, because the demand in Singapore will definitely go down in the next 2 to 3 months. So eventually, when the product starts to come from India to here, the prices will be competitive and the prices will come down. But once again, it all depends on how India is going to react in the next 2 to 3 months. If things gets bad, then of course the whole world will suffer, because India, a lot of countries depend on India for food supplies and for medical facilities as well. So.
Thank you, Mr. Ram. I hope it's very straightforward answer, and Mr. Prasad will take it. And now the question is to Mr. Ilan. You mentioned, Mr. Ilan. Yeah, the question to you is, you mentioned a lot of digitalization opportunities available in Singapore. What is your advice to Indian IT companies? Should we set up a company in Singapore to get opportunities there, or we can service from India itself?
Okay, good question. This is something interesting. You know, basically, to provide a solution, first of all, you need to understand what is the requirement, you know, on the ground, what is required. Okay, what is the improvement we are going to make to the system? You know, suppose somebody is running 10 motors and, you know, a boiler, all those things. They want to monitor the efficiency. Today the efficiency is 80%. You know, they want to see it is 95%. Okay, so how you do this? You know, so you need to go in and maybe do a survey, take out the data, and, you know, propose something, a solution Okay, then you develop this. Where you develop, I don't think anybody cares. Okay, so there should be somebody who takes care of this, what is the requirement, and deliver what is required. In many cases, what happens, you try to give a solution. After you give the solution package to the customer, then you start, parallelly developing also. This is something, reality. Many solutions not to the expectation of the customers. Okay, so I don't think nowadays location is an issue. Everybody is now getting used to the remote working, and there's no real brand name required for this type of solutions. To some extent, Singapore is open. They, if you look at their tenders and all, they just want solution. I mean, some cases it has to be Singapore company. I think many of us have, company access here. So no need to be somebody has to open a company or something like that. Suppose somebody is in HVAC. Today the technology in Singapore, everybody knows. If somebody can offer from India a better technology with a more efficient technology, probably they have to come in and look for a local partner and provide us a solution. So that type of thing, how we understand, how we convert and provide us a package, how do we participate, within the contractual tender requirements, all those things matters. So this is the way to go about, in my view. Does it answer to your question?
Almost you are covering, sir. Hopefully, you are covering the exact answer for the query. And let's move on to the next question. Questions from Kumresan. It's a common question. Anyone can respond. Any info can give regarding stocks and other trading online businesses? Anybody willing to answer for this? Any info can give regarding stocks and other trading online businesses? You want to know the stocks?
Sendil? Okay, for this question, Babu has given the answer in the chat group. I think we can close it.
Okay, that's fine.
So someone can read. Someone can read what it is.
Yeah, you can read, Sendil?
Yeah, please go ahead.
The
I can read that.
Financial system is going to get the revamping soon, and digital currency is going to kick off officially by all the leading countries like USA, China, and India. You may expect a lot of correction in stock trading and forex, etc.
Yes, that's it. So that answers. Sandal.
You can proceed, Sandil, you can proceed.
Yeah, and the final question from Dr. P.S. Kumar to Mr. Ilan. Many experts are in India from ITA itself. Many experts are in Singapore who may have contacts to get more businesses. By adopting collaborating strategies between ITA members and AAA members, we can be more cost effective. What do you think, sir? It's question to Mr. Ilan from Dr. P.S. Kumar.
Hello, Dr. P.S. Kumar. Welcome. Glad to have you here as participant. He's a great management consultant. He's giving a lot of free webinar, a lot of things we are learning from him. Okay, you see, what we have to do is, number one, we should have technically advanced and proven technology. Number one, we should have. And we should be able to package it to the local requirement. There are some local requirement. The tender comes with that, and some criteria to be met. So we need to see that one. Yes, sure, it is possible. Particularly when alumni members have both sides, it's become easy to there is no question of trust or this thing. The interaction will be much faster, and it will be more binding, and we can do it definitely. This is what I also mentioned during my consortium, where a few people, companies have expertise. We put together and we increase our visibility to the end users, EPC companies, yes, we can provide a solution with a reasonable size and all. Sure, thanks.
So I think we are almost done with the questions now. We received a message from Mr. Tariq Kamal, 84 E&I from Bangalore. Just let me read out that. Thanks to all eminent panelists for a lively session and providing insights in various businesses in Singapore. Kudos to the AAA team for organizing this event. I look forward to collaborating with the AAA members to provide local solutions in IT industry. That's it. Almost we are ending. Again, I received a question from NP Prasad. Contactless attendance biometric will be out of this, but RFID and video recognition gets more attraction. So what's your view on it? That's it. Anybody willing to answer for this question? Is regarding RFID and biometric attendance system.
I can take on this. Yes, this is the, with the new security system and the new sort of, monitoring of all the individuals, and even, wanting to know how many people are inside the office, whether they are, only 30 is allowed, why 40 is there, that type of things. In a construction site, suppose one confined area, supposed to be only 20 people, yeah, more than 20 people, yes, this RFID or this new technology, that type of monitoring is definitely going to work, and it is going to be, sort of increased opportunity for you people of, you people, the technology and the solutions.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sandhil, one more quick one from my side.
Okay, please go ahead.
Just want to share my take, overall as some tips from me,
please make it short.
Yeah, so I just learned whatever I learned and want to share. Let us keep our body and mind in the best form possible. That is, it will help everybody to have a overall, holistic life. Let us be part of solution, not problem. Knowledge not applied is equal to no knowledge. This one, the last one is from Dr. P.S. Kumar. I learned from him in his webinar. Business network is equal to net worth. Your net worth is based on your network you develop, customers or your associates or resource partners or whatever. All those things helps as your network. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Ilan. Thanks a lot. So we are almost come to the end of the session. Now, I would like to request Mr. Karunanidhi, the committee head for this online training, for sharing his thanks note. Mr. Karunanidhi.
Thank you, Senthil. Thank you very much. இந்த ஆன்லைன் பிளாட்ஃபார்ம் அரேஞ்ச் பண்ணி கொடுத்த பிரசிடென்ட் நேடு அவர்களுக்கும் செயலாளர் ராஜேஷ் அவர்களுக்கும் அன்பண்ணனுக்கும் ஒரு நன்றி. ரெண்டாவது வந்துட்டு இதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஐ திங்க் இந்த ஆன்லைன் ட்ரைனிங்ல இன்னைக்கு 6வது செஷன் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறோம் இந்த ஒரு மாசத்துல. முன்னாடி எல்லாம் ஒரு ஸ்பீக்கரை வச்சு நம்ம பேசுவோம், அது கொஞ்சம் ஈஸியா இருந்தது. இன்னைக்கு டாபிக் பிசினஸ் சேலஞ்சஸ் அண்ட் சஸ்டைனபிலிட்டி. எங்களுடைய சேலஞ்ச் என்னன்னா, ஒரு 5 பேர் என்டர்பிரினர்ஸ் கூப்பிட்டு இந்த மாதிரியான சுச்சுவேஷன்ல இந்த டாபிக்ல பேச வைக்கிறது எப்படிங்கிற ஒரு சேலஞ்ச் இருந்தது. நான் நெடு பேசிட்டு இருந்தோம். அப்பதான் நம்ம எங்க என்டர்பிரினர் செந்தில்ட்டு அந்த பொறுப்பு கொடுத்துலாம் அப்படின்னு முடிவு பண்ணி, இதனால் இவன் முடிக்கும் என்றாய்ந்து அதனை அவன் கண் விடல் அப்படின்னு ஒரு திருவள்ளுவர் ஒரு திருக்குறள் இருக்கு. அதுக்கு தகுந்த மாதிரி இன்னைக்கு சாம் செந்தில் இந்த நிகழ்ச்சி திறம்பட செஞ்சிருக்காருன்னா சொல்லணும். நிகழ்ச்சியில மாடரேட்டர் நீங்க தான் சொன்ன பிறகு டை போட்டவர் தான். ஒரு 50 பேர் 100 பேர் கை கட்டி வேலை செஞ்சிருக்கிற என்டர்பிரினர்ஸ்ட போயிட்டு ஒரு டை கட்டிட்டு இது மேலாம் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு ஒரு ஒரு வாரமா எல்லா என்டர்பிரினர்ஸும் கம்யூனிகேட் பண்ணி பேசி இருந்திருக்கு பார்த்தோம். அதனாலதான் அந்த நிகழ்ச்சி மிக அருமையா வந்திருக்கு. ரொம்ப நன்றி சார். வளர்ந்து வர என்டர்பிரினர் நீங்க மேலும் வளர வாழ்த்துக்கள். அதுவும் இல்லாம என்டர்பிரினர்ஸ் இன்னைக்கு நீங்க உங்களுடைய நாலேஜ் ஷேரிங் செஷன்ல நிறைய விஷயத்த ஷேர் பண்ணிருக்கிறீங்க. நம்ம பேனலிஸ்ட் மிஸ்டர் இளன், மிஸ்டர் கிருபாகரன், மிஸ்டர் KM ராமலிங்கம், மிஸ்டர் சோமசுந்தரம் அண்ட் மிஸ்டர் அண்ணாதுரை, உங்க அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி. என்டர்பிரனர்ஸ் தேங்க்ஸ் சொல்லணும்னா இன்னைக்கு நடந்த நிகழ்ச்சி மட்டும் தேங்க்ஸ் கிடையாது. அசோசியேஷன் ஆரம்பிச்சு கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 22 ஆண்டுகள் ஆகிறது. அலாங் த வே நிறைய இதை நீங்க சப்போர்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கிறீங்க. இந்த பேண்டமிக் முடிஞ்ச பிறகு வந்துட்டு உங்களுடைய சப்போர்ட் அசோசியேஷனுக்கு எப்பவுமே இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு இந்த நேரத்தில் நான் கேட்டுக்கிறதுக்கு விரும்புறேன். எங்களுக்குள்ளார ஒரு இந்த செஷன் ஆரம்பிக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி எங்களுக்குள்ள ஒரு சின்ன சந்தேகம் சார். இந்த மாதிரியான ஒரு பேண்டமிக் சுச்சுவேஷன்ல நம்ம என்டர்பிரனர்ஸ் வந்துட்டு ஸ்மைலி ஃபேஸோட எப்படி பேச வைக்கிறது அப்படின்னு எங்களுக்குள்ளார ஒரு சின்ன டவுட் இருந்தது. பட் பார்க்கும்போது எல்லா பேனலிஸ்டுமே வந்துட்டு ரொம்ப என்துவா, ரொம்ப எனர்ஜெட்டிக்கா இதெல்லாம் ஊதி தள்ளலாம் அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி ஒரு எனர்ஜெட்டியோட இருக்கிறீங்க. அதுல இருந்து நாங்க என்ன கத்துக்கிட்டோம்னா லைக் இதை வந்து நம்ம கடந்து போலாம் அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு நம்பிக்கையை வந்துட்டு இன்னைக்கு வியூவர்ஸ் எல்லாருக்கும் நீங்க கொடுத்துருக்கிறீங்க அப்படிங்கிறதுதான் உண்மை. அதுக்கு ஒரு பெரிய நன்றி. இதுக்கு முன்னாடி வந்துட்டு சின்ன சின்ன பேண்டமிக்ஸ் எல்லாம் இருந்திருக்கு. சார்ஸ், எபோலா அதெல்லாம் இருந்திருக்கு. ஆனால் COVID-19 சம்திங் ஸ்பெஷல். ஏன்னா இதுல வந்துட்டு COVID-19 ஒரு நம்பர் சேர்த்திருக்கிறாங்க. நான் நினைக்கிறேன் கம்பேர் டு அதர் பேண்டமிக் வந்துட்டு இது கிட்டத்தட்ட ஒரு 19 மடங்கு பெருசு அப்படின்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதனால்தான் இந்த COVID-19ங்கிற பேரே கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஆஃப்டர் லிசனிங் ஃப்ரம் த பேனலிஸ்ட், இந்த ஒரு பேண்டமிக்கை வந்து நம்ம கடந்து போயிடலாம் அப்படிங்கிற நம்பிக்கை கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. இந்த சேலஞ்சு நம்ம கடந்து போன பிறகு இதையும் வரும் சேலஞ்சஸ் எல்லாம் ஒண்ணுமே கிடையாது அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு விஷயத்தை தான் இந்த பேண்டமிக் கொடுத்துருக்கு நான் நம்புறேன். அந்த நம்பிக்கை கொடுத்த ஒவ்வொரு பேனலிஸ்டுக்கும் ரொம்ப நன்றி. இந்த ஆன்லைன் ட்ரைனிங் வந்துட்டு இன்னையோட முடியல. ஆக்சுவலா நாளைக்கு ஒரு டாபிக்ல நம்மளோட அண்ணாமலைன்னு பேசுறாரு. எபிலிட்டி டு சேஞ்ச் டு ஃபிட் நியூ சர்க்கம்ஸ்டன்சஸ் அப்படிங்கிற தலைப்புல வந்துட்டு நாளைக்கு 7:30 மணிக்கு வந்துட்டு NS பாஸ்கரன் பேசுறாரு. ஃபிளையர் வந்துருக்குன்னு நினைக்கிறேன். அதுலயும் எல்லாத்தையும் ஜாயின் பண்ணணும். அதுவும் இல்லாம நம்மளுடைய ப்ரௌட் அண்ணாமலையன் செல்வராஜ் நெக்ஸ்ட் சண்டே காலையில ஒரு 10 மணிக்கு வந்துட்டு டிசைன் அண்ட் கன்ஸ்ட்ரக்ஷன் ஆஃப் MRT ப்ராஜெக்ட் அண்ட் ஜாப் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ் அப்படிங்கிற தலைப்புல வந்து பேசுறாங்க. எல்லாருமே அதுலயும் வந்து ஜாயின் பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். இந்த வாய்ப்பை எனக்கு கொடுத்த அனைத்து நிர்வாக குழு உறுப்பினர்களுக்கும், தலைவர் அவர்களுக்கும், செயலாளர் அவர்களுக்கும் நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொண்டு என்னுடைய நன்றி உரையை முடித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். நன்றி, வணக்கம்.
இனிமையான மாலை பொழுதில் நல்ல பல கருத்துக்களை, தொழில் சார்ந்த நுணுக்கங்களை நமக்கு 5 அனுபவம் வாய்ந்த பேச்சாளர்கள் நம்மளிடத்தில் எடுத்துக் கூறினார்கள். தொடர்ந்து இது போன்ற நிகழ்ச்சிகளை நாம் தொடர்ந்து செய்து நம்முடைய இளைய தலைமுறைக்கு பயன்படும் வகையில் நம்முடைய நிகழ்ச்சிகளை வழங்க வேண்டும் என்பதுதான் என்னுடைய விருப்பம், நம்முடைய செயற்குழுவின் விருப்பமும் ஆகும். எதிர்காலத்தில் இது போன்ற நிகழ்ச்சிகள் தொடர்ந்து நடைபெறும். என்னுடைய பின்புறத்தில் உள்ள இந்த படத்தை பார்த்தீர்கள் என்று சொன்னால் உங்களுக்கு தெரியும். 2013ஆம் ஆண்டு ஹாலிடே இன் ஹோட்டல்ல எடுத்த புகைப்படம். இன்றைக்கு பேசிய பெரும்பாலான உறுப்பினர்கள் இங்கே இருக்கிறார்கள். அண்ணாதுரை, சோமசுந்தரம் இல்லை என்று நினைக்கிறேன். மற்றவர்களும் இருக்கின்றார்கள். ஆகவே 5 நிபுணத்துவம் வாய்ந்த நண்பர்களுக்கு நன்றியை தெரிவித்துக் கொள்கிறேன். சாம்சந்திர அவர்களுக்கும் நன்றி. வந்து நிகழ்ச்சியை இந்த இணையவழி நிகழ்ச்சியை கண்டு அனைவரும் ஏதோ ஒரு செய்தியை நம்மோடு எடுத்து செல்கின்றோம் என்கின்ற நம்பிக்கை எல்லோருக்கும் இருக்கும் என்று நான் கண்டிப்பாக நம்புகிறேன். அனைவருக்கும் நன்றி. மீண்டும் நாளை மாலை 7:30 மணிக்கு சந்திப்போம். அடுத்த வாரம் ஞாயிற்றுக்கிழமை காலை 10 மணி ஞாயிற்றுக்கிழமை காலை 10 மணி நிகழ்ச்சியில் செல்வராஜ் அவர்கள் வேலை வாய்ப்புகள், அதாவது அந்த பெருவிரைவு போக்குவரத்து சார்ந்த அந்த அதில் உள்ள வேலை வாய்ப்புகளை பற்றி அதிகமாக எடுத்து கூற இருக்கின்றார்கள். ஆகவே கட்டிடவியல் சார்ந்த நண்பர்கள் உங்களுக்கு தெரிந்தால் அவர்களிடத்தில் சொல்லுங்கள், வந்து கலந்து கொண்டு பயன்பெறுங்கள். நாளைய நிகழ்ச்சி நிர்வாகம் சம்பந்தப்பட்டது. கரு சொன்னார் NS பாஸ்கரன், அவர் பேர் NS கார்த்திகேயன். 1990ஆம் ஆண்டு படித்து வெளிவந்தவர். அனைவருக்கும் மீண்டும் நன்றி.